You ever get that feeling? Like a little voice whispering, you're not good enough or you'll never get there.
Oh, yeah, those sneaky little voices. We're talking about limiting beliefs today and how they hold us back.
Exactly. And you know what's so wild? It's like they operate under the radar, almost like they're secretly calling the shots and influencing everything we do.
It's true. They really can shape our reality. Like, there was this business owner I read about who was terrified to reach out to new clients, totally convinced they'd get rejected.
So they were stuck, right? Couldn't grow their business because of this fear.
Totally. And it's not just business. I mean, think about people who feel trapped in a job they hate. Sometimes it's that inner voice telling them they're not qualified for anything better.
Or even just that they don't deserve to be happy. It's like these beliefs become our own personal illusion of truth.
Absolutely. But the good news is we can change that. It's like, just like you can update the software on your computer, you can reprogram your thinking patterns.
Okay, so how do we even start to identify these limiting beliefs? They can be so subtle. Sometimes I think they're just common sense or even part of who I am.
Right, they can really blend in. But it's about noticing those recurring negative thoughts. Those are the clues.
So like, I'm not talented enough, or I could never afford that. Stuff like that.
Exactly. And those thoughts, they often come from experiences we've had in the past. Past hurts, past failures.
It's like those experiences created a blueprint in our minds. And we keep referencing that blueprint, even if it's outdated.
That's a great way to put it. So we need to figure out how to break free from that old blueprint.
Okay, so how do we actually do that?
Well, there are a lot of techniques, but one I find really powerful is called the empty chair.
Empty chair.
Yeah. It's kind of like what it sounds like. You picture the person or even the situation that's connected to that limiting belief, and you imagine them sitting in an empty chair across from you.
Okay, and then what?
Then you just talk to them. Express all the thoughts and feelings you have related to that belief.
Wow, so it's like a way to process the emotions that are fueling that limiting belief.
Exactly. You acknowledge those feelings, validate them, and then, you can consciously choose to let them go.
I see. So it's not about suppressing or ignoring those feelings. It's more like you're confronting them head on.
Right. And by expressing those emotions, we take away their power over us.
This is making a lot of sense. But what happens when those negative thoughts just keep coming back? How do we stop them from taking over?
That's where cognitive restructuring comes in. It's about challenging those negative thoughts and then replacing them with things that are more positive and empowering.
Okay, so it's kind of like we're becoming detectives of our own minds, examining the evidence and building a case for a more positive perspective.
You got it. It's about choosing the thoughts that serve us instead of letting the negative ones run wild.
I like that. Choosing our thoughts.
Yeah.
But this cognitive restructuring thing, it sounds a little intimidating, honestly. Is it like brain surgery for negative thoughts or something?
No, not at all. Think of it as a skill you can learn. With practice, it gets easier and easier.
Okay, so walk me through it. How do we actually reframe those thoughts?
Well, first, you got to become aware of the negative thought when it pops up. Then you got to ask yourself, is this thought even true? What evidence do I have?
So you put that thought on trial, like a cross-examination.
Well, exactly. And a lot of times you find out the evidence is weak, or it's based on old stuff that's not even relevant anymore.
So then what?
Once you've challenged that negative thought, you replace it with a positive one that's more realistic and helpful.
So instead of, I'm not good enough, it becomes, I'm learning and growing every day. Something like that.
Perfect. We're basically rewriting the script, swapping out those negative lines with positive affirmations.
I love that. But I'm curious, how we've been talking about thoughts. What about actions? Can we actually change how confident we feel just by changing how we act?
Absolutely. Our body language has a huge impact on how we feel. Think about it when you stand tall, smile, make eye contact. You're signaling to your brain that you're confident.
It's like our body language is a way of expressing our inner state to the world.
Exactly. And here's the thing. It works the other way around, too. Changing your body language can actually change how you feel.
No way. So like if I fake it till I make it, it actually works.
You're not really faking it. You're sending your brain a message. There are studies that show that just holding a power pose for a couple of minutes can actually boost testosterone levels.
Really? Wow. I never knew that.
It's incredible, right? It's all about that mind-body connection.
This is all so insightful. But life throws curveballs. How do we stay positive and keep those limiting beliefs in check when things get tough?
That's where meditation comes in. It's a game changer.
Meditation. Okay, I've heard a lot about meditation, but I'm not sure I get it. How does sitting still and breathing help with all of this?
It's not about emptying your mind, it's about training your attention, building awareness of your thoughts and emotions.
So instead of getting swept away by every thought and feeling, you learn to observe them.
Exactly. You develop this inner witness that can just watch your thoughts and emotions come and go without getting attached.
Wow. That sounds pretty powerful. And freeing, honestly.
It really is. And there are different types of meditation you can try. One popular one is mindfulness meditation.
Mindfulness. I've heard of that. But what does it actually mean?
It's about paying attention to the present moment without judgment. You notice your breath, your thoughts, your bodily sensations.
So like if I start to feel anxious, I just notice that feeling without getting caught up in the why of it all.
Exactly. You just observe it. And as you practice, it gets easier to stay grounded in the present moment.
Okay, that makes sense. I think I'm starting to get it. But does this stuff actually work? Like, does meditation really change your brain? Or is it all just like mental gymnastics?
It really works. There's a ton of research showing that meditation can change the structure and function of your brain.
Wait, really? So I'm not just calming my mind, I'm actually changing my brain for the better.
You got it. It shows how amazing and adaptable our brains really are.
I'm starting to see that meditation isn't just some woo-woo thing. It's a real tool we can use to improve our lives.
Absolutely. It gives you this incredible power to master your own mind.
I'm definitely feeling inspired to give meditation a try. Any advice for a newbie like me?
Start small, just a few minutes a day. Find a quiet spot, get comfortable, focus on your breath, and don't worry if your mind wanders. It happens to everyone. Just gently guide your attention back.
So it's a practice. You get better over time.
Exactly. It's a journey, not a destination. And remember to be kind to yourself. Not every meditation session will be perfect.
That's really helpful. Thanks for breaking it down for me.
My pleasure. I love talking about meditation.
This has been amazing. It's like we've uncovered this whole new world of possibilities.
And we're just getting started.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Identifying limiting beliefs, cognitive restructuring, using our body language, and now meditation.
It's all connected. It's a holistic approach to transforming our lives.
I love that, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning of our exploration.
You know it. There's so much more to discover.
I can't wait to dive deeper. This is already blowing my mind.
Me too. And I'm excited to share more with you and our listeners.
All right, so we've talked about the power of our thoughts, but what happens when we actually start to dismantle those limiting beliefs?
Well, when we let go of those limiting beliefs, it's like we're creating space for new possibilities and experiences, things we may have thought were impossible before.
So we open ourselves up to a whole new world just by changing our beliefs.
It's pretty amazing. We start to see opportunities we never noticed before, like those aha moments, but on a bigger scale.
So it's not just about changing our internal world, but also our external reality.
Exactly. Our thoughts and beliefs have a huge influence on the world around us. It's like a ripple effect.
Wow. Okay, so we've talked about our thoughts and actions, but what about our environment? Does that play a role too?
Absolutely. Our environment can either support or hinder our growth. It's like if you're trying to grow a plant, you need to give it the right soil, the right amount of sunlight, the right nutrients.
So it's not just about changing our internal dialogue, but also creating an external environment that supports our goals.
You got it.
So what are some things we can do to create that supportive environment?
Well, one simple thing is to declutter. Physical clutter can really weigh us down mentally and emotionally.
It's true. When my space is messy, my mind feels messy too.
Exactly. Clearing out the clutter can create a sense of peace and clarity.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
Don't underestimate the power of nature. Spending time outdoors can do wonders for your well-being.
So get outside, go for a walk, maybe do some gardening.
Exactly. Even just having some plants in your home can make a difference.
I love that. Connecting with nature, it's so grounding.
It is. And remember, our environment isn't just our physical surroundings, it's also the people we spend time with.
Ah, good point. So it's important to surround ourselves with people who lift us up and support our growth.
Exactly. The people we spend our time with have a huge impact on us.
This is all starting to come together. It's like we need to pay attention to our thoughts, our actions, our environment, and our relationships. It's a whole system.
You got it. It's a holistic approach to personal growth.
And it's empowering.
Absolutely. You have the power to shape your own reality.
I'm feeling so inspired right now.
Me too. This is just the beginning of an incredible journey.
And I can't wait to see where it takes us.
Me neither. There's so much more to explore.
Okay, so much to unpack here. We were talking about meditation and how it can help us master our minds.
Right. And you mentioned different types of meditation.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear more about that. Like, what are some of the different ways people meditate?
Well, mindfulness meditation is one that's really popular.
Mindfulness, that's the one where you just sit there and focus on your breath, right?
Well, it's a little more than that. It's about really paying attention to the present moment, noticing your breath, your thoughts, your bodily sensations, all without judgment.
Okay, so it's not just about zoning out. It's about being present.
Exactly. It's about becoming aware of your inner experience without getting caught up in it.
So, like, if I start to feel stressed, I just notice that feeling without freaking out about it.
You got it. You just observe it. You're like a scientist observing an experiment.
That's a good way to think about it. So how do you actually do it? Like, what's the technique?
It's pretty simple, actually. You find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. And when your mind wanders, because it will, you gently guide your attention back to your breath.
It sounds easy enough, but I bet it's harder than it sounds.
It takes practice, for sure, but it gets easier over time.
Okay, so let's say I start practicing mindfulness meditation. What's actually happening in my brain? Like, does it really change anything?
It really does. There's a ton of research showing that meditation can change the structure and function of your brain.
No way, seriously.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Studies have shown that it can increase gray matter in areas of the brain associated with attention, emotional regulation, self-awareness.
So I'm not just calming my mind, I'm actually rewiring my brain.
Exactly. It's a powerful tool for personal transformation.
This is blowing my mind. Okay, so what about other types of meditation?
Well, there's loving-kindness meditation, where you cultivate feelings of compassion and kindness towards yourself and others. There's walking meditation, where you focus on the sensations of walking. There's transcendental meditation, which uses mantras.
Wow, so many options.
Yeah, there really is a type of meditation for everyone.
This is amazing. I'm definitely going to explore these different techniques.
I encourage you to. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful journey.
Okay, so we've talked about how meditation can change our brains. But how does that translate to real life? Like, how does it help us overcome those limiting beliefs we were talking about earlier?
Well, meditation helps us develop a sense of awareness of our thoughts and emotions. And with that awareness comes the ability to choose which thoughts we focus on.
So instead of being ruled by our negative thoughts, we can choose to focus on more positive and empowering ones.
Exactly. It's like we're training our minds to be more flexible and resilient.
I like that. Mental flexibility. It's like we're stretching our mental muscles.
Exactly. And the more we practice, the stronger those muscles become.
So it's not just about feeling calmer. It's about actually changing how we think and react to things.
You got it.
Okay, so we've talked about meditation and how it can help us with our thoughts and emotions. But what about taking action? How do we actually start making changes in our lives?
Well, sometimes it's about setting small, achievable goals and then taking consistent action towards those goals, even if it's just one small step at a time.
So like instead of trying to climb the whole mountain at once, we focus on taking one step at a time.
That's a great analogy. And remember to celebrate those small wins along the way. That positive reinforcement can really help keep you motivated.
I love that. Celebrating the small wins. It's easy to get caught up in the big picture and forget to acknowledge the progress we're making.
Absolutely. It's important to acknowledge how far we've come.
Okay, so we're setting small goals, taking consistent action, celebrating our wins. What else?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. You don't have to do this alone.
Yeah, sometimes we try to do everything ourselves. It's like we're afraid to admit we need help.
It's okay to reach out to friends, family, therapists, coaches, anyone who can offer support and guidance.
That's so true. Sometimes just talking things through with someone can make a world of difference.
It really can. And remember, you're not alone. Everyone faces challenges in life.
That's comforting to hear. Okay, so we've talked about taking action, asking for help. Anything else?
Well, remember that this is a journey. There will be ups and downs. There will be times when you feel discouraged. And that's okay. Just keep going.
So it's about being patient with ourselves.
Exactly. And being kind to ourselves. We all make mistakes. The important thing is to learn from those mistakes and keep moving forward.
That's really helpful. Thank you for sharing all of this wisdom with us.
My pleasure. I love talking about this stuff.
I'm feeling so inspired right now. Like I can actually achieve anything I set my mind to.
You absolutely can. You have the power within you.
I believe it. And I hope our listeners do too. This has been such an empowering conversation.
I agree. It's amazing to see how much we can achieve when we believe in ourselves and take action towards our goals.
So true. And I think the key takeaway here is that it's all about taking it one step at a time. We don't have to do everything at once. We just have to keep moving forward.
Beautifully said. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
I love that. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today,
Yeah.
but I'm curious, is there anything else you want to leave our listeners with? Any final words of wisdom?
I would just say, trust the journey, believe in yourself, and never give up on your dreams.
It's so interesting how all of this ties together our thoughts, our actions, our environment, our relationships. It really is a holistic process, isn't it?
It totally is. It's like we can't just focus on one piece of the puzzle. We have to address all of it if we want to create lasting change.
Exactly. And it's a journey, right? It's not
Yeah.
like we just wake up one day and suddenly we're free from all our limiting beliefs.
Right. It's an ongoing process of growth and evolution.
And that takes courage, I think. Courage to face those beliefs, challenge them, and step outside of our comfort zones.
Absolutely. Courage is essential for personal growth. It's about facing our fears and taking action, even when we don't feel 100% ready.
It's like you don't have to wait until you feel confident to take action.
Yeah,
Sometimes taking action is what builds the confidence.
you got it. Sometimes you just got to jump in and trust the process.
Yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway. I love that saying.
It's so true.
This whole conversation has been so inspiring. It's like we've been given this amazing toolkit to navigate life and create the reality we want.
And the best part is, we already have everything we need within us. We just have to tap into it.
I love that. So as we wrap up this deep dive, is there anything else you want to share with our listeners? Any final words of wisdom to help them on their journey?
I would just say, trust the process. Believe in yourself. You are capable of incredible things. And never, ever give up on your dreams.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. It's been truly enlightening.
It's been my pleasure. And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've gained some valuable tools and inspiration to help you conquer your limiting beliefs and create a life you truly love. Keep exploring, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself.